right, what's up, everybody listening? Welcome back to the Always Bayern Chelsea show. Back here with Roohdar X, collaborating once again to talk all things Chelsea. Big smile on his face, so I know he's ready to get going and talk about some great things.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for having me once again. Always good to be here. Always good talking to you. It's a good moment to be a Chelsea fan, I guess, right?
It's always a great time to be a Chelsea fan. I think we can all agree that it's never a bad time to be a Chelsea fan.
I feel you. I feel you.
All right. So before we get into things, Chelsea, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, whatever, give us a like, leave a review, comment on YouTube. Love seeing your comments, whether you love us, hate us, or don't have any opinion at all. Please give us a subscribe if you want. Go check out Roodar's channel as well on YouTube. He's putting out some great content, doing some live streams with some people talking all things football. So do all those things and keep listening and watching the content we put out, because there's a lot of stuff going on lately in the football world, whether it's Chelsea or Bayern Munich with Danny, who I usually am here with. So and let's not forget, speaking of Bayern Munich, please tune in next week, Wednesday. Bayern play Chelsea. This is the first clash of the two teams on this podcast, Always Bayern Chelsea. It's going to be insane, and we're planning on live streaming, so please tune in for that. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome. That's awesome. I'm looking forward to that game, though.
Yeah, that's gonna be insane. And actually, we might as well just start there briefly. Danny and I kind of talked a little bit about the Champions League draw. I was watching live when they were pulling, the balls, or I forget how they were even doing it, but they kind of use a computer for half of it now, supercomputer. But what are your thoughts on the teams that Chelsea drew?
I mean, not the worst draw we could get. Definitely not. And I was honestly, I looked at the draw. I mean, some of them are obviously very tough games. I think and the most toughest game technically on paper has to be Bayern away. Obviously, I think that is. I think Danny would probably also agree that one of their toughest games would be Chelsea at home. But I think they're playing PSG also, if I'm correct. Bayern.
Yep, they do, and Arsenal. Yep.
Arsenal, so they have also pretty tough fixtures. I think, but even Barcelona at home is going to be tricky as hell. I'm hoping for some old sparks to be revived. Maybe, who knows? That's been a long time since we played there. I honestly, I believe we were kind of well balanced. We all almost evenly split with four, like I think I would say 3 to 4 tough games with 3 to 4 winnable games also at the same time. So we got a good even split, unlike other teams like PSG. PSG have surprisingly got one of the worst draws despite being the holders. So I was actually kind of surprised. So it really shows you like the new Champions League draw doesn't really favor anything. It's just so randomized completely, despite the your seeding and your parts or whatever the system they use. It's kind of funny that we got an easier draw than PSG, who are the champions, right? Right. So I'm actually not the. I'm actually kind of looking forward to these draws because it's been so long, Champions League football. And in particular, didn't mind playing Barcelona because they're also the in-hype team from La Liga, and they did very well last season, and they got great attacking style and flair about them. We all know that. I'll look forward to that game at the bridge. That'll be some great atmosphere, and I'm also honestly looking forward to what Company will do against Chelsea, because it's going to be a tricky game, because I think he has a lot to prove in Europe this season. In particular, I'm sure Danny would agree that, because there's one thing if they're lacking is some sort of European pedigree, is really where Bayern really need to like prove their mettle.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I agree with what you say about the Champions League draw. I think that's why they made this league phase the way they did with the 8 games, because they wanted big time matchups. That's certainly what they're getting. And we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of interesting games and a lot of fun can be had. And as far as Bayern goes, I agree, because I talk about this with Danny all the time about Bayern Munich. They dominate the Bundesliga almost every single season. They won like something like 11 or 13 league titles in a row. So in my opinion, your number one goal should always be to do well in the Champions League, because you're just going to assume that you're going to win the league. So if I'm
Yeah.
Vincent Company and the Bayern squad, I'm going to be
Mm.
chomping at the bit to do well in the Champions League. And Chelsea being the first match makes it even more interesting, because you can set the tone right away with all of Europe and send a message
Yeah.
if you're either
Yeah.
team.
Mm. And that's why I've actually I don't know, Jim, if you watched like the social media drops by the Chelsea media team, like right before the draw came. And I think it was in the training ground. So there's this, I think there's a YouTube shot where like the camera guy is like asking every player coming out of the training
Yep.
ground, hey,
Yep.
who do you want to face? Who do you want to face? And I love the fact that it was like, Barcelona, Madrid, and I was like, yo, these guys are up for it. Like, I
Oh
like
yeah.
it. I like it. They're like, oh, give us PSG again, let those this time. And Sanchez had the
Yep.
best one. He was like, give us PSG again. We this time no excuses, PSG. Loved it. I love that. I love the vibe that we have right now. I love the confidence these players. So right now, Bayern, Barca, PSG, bring on anyone. I feel these boys will do well. Whoever you put them against, and I think there is this this confidence wave we are riding, despite whatever injuries we're getting. That it's not nothing stopping us. I truly feel that way after a long time. Uh, and I think I expect us to definitely at least make it to the top 16. What would you say to that, Jim?
Yeah, my prediction officially, Danny and I did a predictions video for the season. I said Chelsea will make the quarterfinal, which would be top 8.
Mm.
I just think they have what it takes to go all the way, but I don't anticipate them actually making it all the way. I think they're such a young team, and I do think that matters at a certain point. We're also seeing all these injuries, as you mentioned. So, playing in the Club World Cup, I think a lot of that's going to really catch up to Chelsea at some point, as it already has started to. So, but I think a quarterfinal would be really incredible for the team. And then they can only build off of that, going into next season as well.
I think I would actually I go a step further. I would not be surprised if we even reach the semifinals. To be very honest, honestly, it's also about the draw. Champions League, I've learned this over the years. Like the draw really matters. Like what leg of the draw you get into. I mean, whatever you say, our Club World Cup draw did help us build confidence going into the final against PSG, right? It helped the team gel a lot, I believe.
Yep.
Maybe I don't know if it would have been the same if we had faced any big team earlier. Maybe not. You never know, but you just got. But you can only beat the teams you face, as they say, right? You cannot do
Totally.
anything about the draw you get. I think so. I believe we can make go very deep into this competition. And in particular, I'm still, I have worries over something I also wanted to talk to you about is the whole situation of our strikers right now, and how confident you feel going about the lap injury, Jackson leaving, McGee, Gil, man, I don't know how to pronounce his name, uh, as a backup. How do you feel about the whole striker situation?
Yeah, it's tough because, you come into the season, you buy Liam Delap, João Pedro, you still have Jackson, and then, you think you're going to sell him. He's obviously going on loan now to Bayern, which is great for me. I'll still watch him, a ton, but it leaves you then short when Delap gets that injury. And I will say when they just released now that it's probably 10 weeks, I look at that as a little bit of a positive because when I see hamstring injuries, I thought it could have been way worse. And they originally said at least 6 to 8 weeks, so it's kind of in the middle from what I was expecting. I don't know. It's going to be tough. I've loved what I've seen from João Pedro, but I think he can't just be the only guy. You need bodies, especially playing in Champions League, Carabao Cup, FA Cup, once those games are starting here over the next few weeks and months. So it's going to be tough, and I think I like also João Pedro in that 10 attacking midfield spot when Palmer's been out or subbing, replacing Palmer. So you're really going to need to see Mark Guiu step up, I think, and he's Carabao Cup tied. I don't know if that also means he can't play in the FA Cup. I don't know if those are like tied together, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We might see some Shim Mueka time as well. I don't know if you follow him in the under 21 team. He's also been
Yeah,
popping for the England
yeah,
U19s.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you're going to need some of these guys.
yeah, yeah. I think you're totally right. But I believe honestly, if you have to look at the striker situation, I think clearly there was a bit of panic when Dilap got injured, and obviously, you're right. I think every fan feared the worst, right? That he's going to be out for like at least like 3-4 months because hamstring injuries are notoriously tricky, as you rightly put it, and you don't know when you can honestly you can recover. The only good piece of news we got earlier this week is that he might just return in November, earlier than anticipated. People are thinking December or whatnot. So there's no surgery required. So that's good news. That's good to hear. So there's some bit of positivity, I guess. Probably he'll definitely miss some key Champions League games and obviously the Carabao Cup games early on and some key Premier League games. So I'm hoping, yes, uh, I mean, Guy is obviously cup tied, but I seriously hope he can step it up, can be a good, able backup to João Pedro. The good thing is he was kind of already integrated into the squad last season, so I don't think that will be the worry. I think what it might be concerning is the additional burden that and responsibility that he'll have to shoulder as because by default rather like than by your natural merit or whatever you may call it. But you know what? I think we should be fine till November. If November is truly when the app returns, I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be more or less able to manage it. Will not be too bad. Too bad with
Yeah,
that.
the
I think
thing about Guiu too is I'm not worried about his fit with the squad and what he can bring. His determination, his hustle, his grit. He does all the little things really well that Maresca loves. He presses really hard. So I'm not worried about any of that, which I think is great because some strikers, you just don't know how they're going to fit in doing all those little extra things. The only thing will be, can he go the extra step and bag a couple of nice goals? Like, can he show that he finishes off from a nice pass from Neto or, whatever the case is? That'll be the interesting thing to watch. I think, like I said, pressing and those little defensive things, he'll be fine. But can he put a few goals in, maybe get an assist here or there, some link up play? That'll be what
yeah.
I'm really interested in seeing. So
So
it just depends on the opponent too. And you're just gonna need other guys to step up. We'll see with
yeah,
Palmer how fit he is. It's kind of been confusing to see if he's training or not.
yeah.
So I don't know. You
I,
just need more guys scoring too.
True. I think I don't think even Power played in the England squad. Also, I don't think he was part of the squad
He's not.
which
Yeah.
played the qualifiers. And I just hope this international break probably helps him recover quickly because we need him back ASAP. Like we really do. We really are not cannot afford more attacking injuries to any of our forwards. We're already sort of feeling light after two injuries. So we need Palmer back. I think Palmer being back is crucial. Must say though, Estevao looked good. Estevao, for an 18-year-old, he doesn't look so phased at all. Does he, Jim? Like when he plays.
The amazing thing is he's so tiny compared to a lot of guys in the Premier League. Obviously he's only 18 and he's gonna get bodied at times. He's gonna be, out muscled by some of these defenders, but he knows how to use his body so well in tight spaces, dribbling around guys, using his speed in effective ways. And he's already shown that a ton, and then over the international break here, he gets his first goal for Brazil. So his confidence has got to be sky high right now.
Yeah. I love the fact here. It was like always a good watch the game. I watched some of the highlights and he looked electric. He was clearly the player of the match for that game, and he was shining. And it just shows this kid's confidence is through the roof. And long it may continue. I seriously, my only long-term concern, not really a short-term concern, is that we don't overplay him and just burn him out at a very young age. And that is why I also want Palmer back, because he should not be also. I mean, it's great he's getting these minutes. I think it's actually helping him. But at the same time, I'm also I want to be cautious about, young players getting too many minutes. I mean, like, for example, the biggest example we have in current modern football is of, Bukayo Saka. I mean, he got so many minutes as a youngster. Look at him. He's having so many injuries already, at this age. And that's what it does to your body. If you get so many minutes as a youngster, I mean, you deserve it. I mean, Saka also deserved it, right? Like playing for Arsenal, the way he played, the way what he does, what he brings to the team, his talent, and etc. etc. But damn, but look at the injuries costing him. He's not even like been there for the score. He's not been there for the start of the season. That's why they got Noni Madueke from us, for because they knew like Saka is very injury prone now. So I hope I hope the club keeps this in mind also. And when we're looking at this, and that's why I really want Palmer to come back, because once again, no, I don't want him to be burnt out so quickly by the time he reaches like what 24, 25, which is supposed to be like your peak years.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I've been preaching patience with Estevao forever. If you're a fan watching Estevao, don't get overhyped or excited because he's going to have growing pains. You want him to learn how to build with the squad slowly. He's got to learn English, grow accustomed to life in London, which seems like he's doing great from that perspective. But these are all important steps that he's got to take. And he's going to be going into some massive matches here in the Champions League right away. And I was saying this to Danny, there's no chance I want Estevao starting that match against Bayern away in Munich in the Allianz Arena. I mean, that's going to be way too big in my opinion. And I'm sure he can handle it, but whether Palmer's back or not, like, I'm just probably having Neto and somebody else on the left side. And then you could bring in Estevao in, but a huge moment like that could just be insane.
But you might have a point there, Jim. Because Bayern away, and if I believe I'm correct, I'm just looking through a schedule. It just actually might be what, like our first Champions League game, if I'm correct, right? And it's
next week.
So it's a huge game, like it's a huge step up, right? To suddenly be thrusted into like Champions League football. And imagine your first game of Champions League football is like Bayern Munich away, a European giant. And it's a lot to ask from an 18-year-old to like, step up. And fans' expectations sometimes are such, and especially on social media, we live in a very socially media sort of conscious and hypersensitive world where if player doesn't perform, suddenly like fans are like, yo, oh, maybe he's not as good as he said he was. And obviously there's a sane part of the fan base, but at the same time, social media creates this sort of distraction also, where a lot of fans will go like, oh, Estevao was such a disappointing performance. I mean, not realizing here's an 18-year-old kid playing like top European level football for the first time in his life. And I can actually, that's actually a good argument to have, Jim. I actually kind of agree. I mean, I would really, really hope that Esteban, like, Palmer is probably fit by then, because I would
Yep.
actually prefer someone else to step up and be there. But if we don't, we're really planning on Palmer to do something, aren't we? We are really hoping that Palmer does something to
Totally.
quickly.
Total. I mean, yeah, Palmer is obviously an important piece as we move into these huge matches. And the other thing is, though, we have all these new exciting players that we've talked about that were coming in the transfer window. I think last time we talked, it was before the end of the window. So
Yeah,
we thought we'd see a
yeah.
Javi Simone's coming in. We end up getting Garnacho finalized. Who are you looking at as a guy for Chelsea? Maybe it's an attacker that you think is going to blow up, maybe over the next month or, 3 months or the rest of the year. Could be a new guy, could be a guy that was on the team last year, but who do you think's really going to show some great form here?
I think I think I mentioned this, Jim. Also, and if I was correct, I honestly thought João Pedro is something special, which I think most of an average football fan will probably look over. Because you look at his stats from last season, Brighton, you're like, yeah, he doesn't have many non-penalty goals. You know, his conversion numbers are not great. Is he really gonna do something? But here he comes. And the moment I saw him, I was like, okay, this kid can do something better. And if you remember the last time I was on a channel, I had actually mentioned this: the player to look out for is probably João Pedro. And my goodness, look at him already. He's got like what? He's got 2 goals and like a couple of assists
Oh yeah.
already in August. And he's great in the air. My goodness, we have finally someone who can head the ball into the net, Jim. There was no one for the longest time an attack who could head the ball properly.
Are you telling me you
And
don't like a accidental Nico Jackson shouldering the ball in?
It's funny. It's funny that you speak of Nico Jackson. Actually, it was very funny to see Danny's reaction to Nico's transfer, and the shocking comments by Uli Hoeneß
Oh my God.
on Nico's situation. What do you make of all of that, man? I would actually wanted to ask you, like, when he's speaking of striker situation and players to watch out for, and Nico's situation in Bayern Munich it's bizarre of what Uli Hoeneß said. Clearly, surely that's very bizarre, right? To say that to someone who's just like arrived at your club.
Yeah, so Danny and I actually talked about it, and our thoughts
Yeah.
will be dropping
Yeah.
tomorrow, which, if you're listening now, will probably be past. But I was kind of, composed in my thoughts there, but to be just completely transparent here, I think, he's a clown, first of all, Uli Hoeneß. He's a loose cannon. He says whatever he thinks. You should never say that about a player because I don't know what you're possibly thinking. But also, and I love Nico. I love Nico Jackson. I'll always back him, but the way he's being used by Bayern in this scenario, I think makes Nico look so foolish because he essentially was saying, I want to go to Bayern so bad and I want to, back up to Kane and then lead the line, if Kane leads basically and be on this team for years to come. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
Bayern doesn't give a crap about you from what it sounds like. They just want to use you for this year. Fair play to
Yeah.
them, I guess, because they need a guy, they need bodies. But I don't know. To me, it just seems like they're using Nico as just like this guy, basically. I don't know. I wouldn't feel great if I was Nico at all.
I don't know. Not
I
at
don't,
all. I
it's
mean,
tough.
it's a tough break. I think in my live stream, in my last live stream on my channel, I'd also actually talked about this. I actually like Jackson's play in general. He's not a bad player. Like, I think we can all agree on this. I think he's not a bad player. he's a great squad player to have. He's a brilliant squad player to have. It's like I think, especially coming off the bench when things are static and the defense is like very well compact, Jackson can provide like a different option. He drops in, he makes runs. He's very selfless in his play most of the times, actually. And that's great to see. And he actually understood Maresca's system very well. So I would have, like you, Jim, I would totally agree that I would have loved to have Jackson in the squad. I actually didn't want him to go to Bayern Munich. That would have been the most preferable option for me. But clearly, Jackson probably set very high expectations from himself. I think any player should. Okay, that's fine. I think that's just like being ambitious as a player, and I clearly appreciate that. But he was brought down to earth by Bayern Munich's president. Like, that was like an insane comment to make on a player who's just joined you, who's not even played a game of football for you. And to say that about a player, that can really crash your confidence, and that was just bizarre. And I think this should be probably like I mean, if I was Jackson, it would be crushing for me, but probably a humbling lesson also of, in the words of Erling Haaland, is stay humble, and and just like keep your head in the football, and fine, things don't work out sometimes at clubs, and you may want to move, you may want to change, your luck and fortune, but nothing is concrete ever given in football. Things can change so quickly that you don't want to look foolish, like like Joao Felix, and say like, oh yeah, it was my dream to play for AC Milan. Oh, it was my dream.
Yep.
Insert random club where he's transferred to. It's my dream to play for XYZ club since childhood. It's just ridiculous after a point, right? Because he's finally got to Al Nassr out of all clubs, and he's now there. And maybe he'll do well. I think he
He
scored
is,
also
yeah.
or something. So, football is fast moving also now, Jim. And I think it just so fast, we don't know what happens next.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of these quotes that come out, I think clubs are putting these quotes out and they're not real
Yeah.
sometimes, because you got Tottenham signing Xavi Simons, and the quote about, his big thing is the phone, answering the call, whatever, that's a celebration. And he's like, oh yeah, I didn't really pick up until Tottenham called or something like that. When
I'm like, come
it was
on.
rumored all along that he wanted to go to Chelsea. It's like, come on,
Yeah.
dude, nobody believes that.
Nobody does. Nobody does. Come on. Come on, Xavi Simons. You know you're better than that. We know if you wanted the Chelsea call. We just didn't call you. I mean, that's down to the directors, really. Clearly the price was a sticking point, but he wanted Chelsea. Clearly, he didn't get the call, but I think it was too late for him to like go back and like gel with the rest of the Leipzig squad. So he's like, okay, I'm out. So anyone want to come and get me?
Right.
And Spurs just did it. That's about it.
Yeah,
That's the
no,
only.
and fair play to Spurs. I mean, I still think
Yeah,
he's a good player, and yeah,
yeah.
I do agree. I think ultimately Chelsea just didn't want to move in that direction for whatever reason. The end of that window was just weird overall, but
Very big.
I still love the Chelsea squad and the players.
Yeah.
So, I think if Chelsea can just find the rhythm, stay healthy, it's gonna be the key. I really think the key to this entire season is health.
True.
We just saw a huge depth piece now that is out too, Dario Asugo. So Lavia needs to be back
We got
because
Darius Hugo out also.
yeah,
Yeah, Jim, thanks for reminding me. That's other than the depressing. I was like, what is happening? Why is our squad falling apart suddenly? It's concerning, man.
I know, and that's why I say I really think the key to this season is health. Just in general, in the Premier League, in the Champions League, I've seen a lot of people say they think the team to win the league, win the Champions League, could just be the healthiest team left standing, basically.
That actually might be right, because the amount of injuries each squad is having right now, like we've seen Manchester City having this problem. We got even Liverpool with a couple of injuries immediately. I think a lot of people limped off against Arsenal. I remember also. So even Arsenal have injuries also. So it's clearly, a lot of squads are feeling it. So you're right. I think it's literally gonna be which squad depth is good enough to deal the brunt of the season is where it'll be tested. I think we should be okay. And I would you like to use this opportunity to pivot towards Brentford away. How are you feeling about Brentford away, Jim?
I'm feeling great. Yeah, I think Chelsea will keep things moving in the right direction. I think Brentford are going to struggle this year without Frank being there. They also lost a lot of key guys, so
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
Chelsea will probably look to rotate a bit. If I'm guessing correctly, I would be shocked if Reece James plays after how much he's played for England. I hope Cucurella gets a rest. He played 90 minutes twice for Spain. So I'm rotating. I'm also looking for the new guys that we're training at Cobham to maybe get some time. Garnacho, I think, maybe this kid from Brighton on loan. Buonanotte, if that's how you say his name, maybe get some time.
Yeah.
But I think Chelsea will quite frankly easily win. I hope I'm not wrong there, but I'm predicting probably like a 3-0 victory for Chelsea.
Well, that's a confident prediction. I know that Brentford have been seriously a pain in the ass both past couple of seasons. I mean, the most shocking stat was for me that I think until last season we hadn't even won against them at Stamford Bridge. I mean, for the past 3 seasons they had been prior to that in the Premier League, and that was pretty shocking to me because they had won all 3 games at Stamford Bridge. So Brentford has been notoriously hard to beat for us. But with Frank gone and loss of Mbeumo and so many other key players, uh, if I'm correct, even Visa has joined Newcastle now. So they have lost like a lot of key players. We should be winning this. I think Brentford is one of my was in I think probably if I remember correctly, both of our predictions was one of the key because I remember watching your stream on the Premier League predictions. I think both of us probably selected Brentford to go down this season, also given the losses they've had this season. And I honestly believe we should be winning both our games against Brentford this season. No excuses. I need 6-on-6 against Brentford. We cannot drop points to Brentford anymore. They are at their weakest, the lowest ebb, and anything less than 3 points will be honestly disappointing this weekend for me, at least. It's going to be a tough game. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy win. I do expect us to squeeze it out. So I'll go for like a 2-1 win, probably against Brentford. I think they'll definitely score. They'll give us a bit of a hard time. And depending on what our fitness issues are, if Palmer is back or not, I doubt he's going to be back though. But I still believe we have enough to squeeze out a win.
Hey, a win's a win. They all count the same. So I would certainly take that. I do really quickly want to bring up a topic as we got a little bit of time left here. I know you wanted to discuss the Chelsea Women's Club a bit, and they just kind of had their season kick off. Talk about an exciting team that's always bringing in the top talent in the world in women's football.
Could you just repeat that, Jim? I just lost you for a bit there.
Oh yeah, no, I was just talking about the pivoting over to the Chelsea women's team, which I know you.
Oh, actually, yeah, the WSL. Oh yeah, I was hoping we could quickly touch upon that. I love the WSL. I think, let's be honest, Chelsea women have upheld the badge, and that badge is honored for the past couple of years when the men have been literally failing season after season. And I believe, and Sonia Bompastor is such an awesome coach. She's a brilliant coach. I think that was a great replacement for Emma Hayes. We needed someone to carry forward the legacy. And I think Sonia was a great appointment in the first place. And we're coming off domestic treble, historic domestic treble. And we started off the season in style. We still have injuries. Ramirez is out. I think even Sam Kerr is finally coming after a long ACL issue. But Angie Beaver-Jones filled in really well, scored a brilliant goal. And we were comfortably over the line against City, nevertheless, which is obviously one of our main competitors for the WSL title. Long live the women. I honestly believe like watching the women is such a comfort watch because I hardly feel any anxiety of like watching the women's team ever because they're so good. They're like so established. Like despite all the chaos of the past years, they have remained so steadfast, so consistent, and and the talent of that squad, from Lauren James, to Guru Raithan, to Millie Bright at the back in the defense. I think the recruitment's always be on spot, with getting, and we just signed a record £1 million signing
Yeah.
also recently, and we're clearly going all out. We're not taking I'm glad we're not taking women's team lightly and we're reinforcing the squad.
Yeah, and they clearly want that Champions League title, which has kind of
I
alluded to
really want
here.
that.
You know,
I really want it also, Jim.
yeah,
I really want it.
yeah, and that's fair. You know, they dominate the league. They're kind of like the Bayern, how I was talking about just dominating the league and the Champions League, just
Yeah,
alluding here a little bit. So I
yeah,
think they're doing all the right things to get there, you know, going from Emma Hayes to Sonia Bompastor, like you said. So they're exciting. I mean, every
yeah,
time I watch them,
yeah.
I haven't seen them a ton as much as the men's team, but every time their games are available,
Mm.
they are an electric
Yeah.
watch. Like you said, they're so talented. I mean, you mentioned Lauren James, and I think she's hurt right now, but she legitimately is one of the best players, male or
Yeah.
female. I mean, Reese has talked about how he thinks she
Mhm.
has more technical ability than,
Yeah.
99% of men. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's terrific. Like, where like England winning the Euros was a lot down to players like Lauren James, who changed the tide of the games in such crucial games. Like England women winning their back-to-back titles was unprecedented, but it is down to players like Lauren James, who's, oh my goodness, watching her play is such a delight. It's such a delight watching her play. She is so talented. Like both these siblings are like insanely talented, and clearly Lauren James, she is more of the has more of the attacking instincts of the two clearly as players, and she's such a delight to watch. Her ball control, it's it's like butter. Oh my goodness, so smooth watching her play.
yeah, so good. And hopefully we see the women do well, keep up their great play, and maybe they'll get that Champions League. And who knows? Maybe we'll have men and
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
women. We could have men and women both winning the Champions League. Who knows? Chelsea could just.
That'll be amazing.
It would be incredible.
That'll be crazy. That'll be crazy. I'm in here for the double Champions League delight. Really want that to happen, and I really at least want the women to get that Champions League title this season. I've been so wanting it. I was so disappointed last season. We've been reaching like semis consistently in the Women's Champions League. It's just been we've always get Barcelona inevitably, which is arguably like if Real Madrid is what they are of the Men's Champions League, Barcelona, what Real Madrid are to Men's Champions League, what they are to Women's Champions League. Need to get to the final hurdle. You got to be the best to be the best, I guess.
That you do. And I think that's a good way to kind of end this off, our discussion here. Real quick, let everybody know where they can find you.
So my channel is called Roohdar X, and you can find me every 3-4 days or so. I post something. Usually live streams. You can join me on there, or I post a video or a short, especially reactions to the weekend highlights and what went on, the major games, and of course the Chelsea games in particular. And I also follow the WSL, which I'll be also covering on my channel. And it would be great to see some of your viewers there also. That'll be great.
Give us both a like, subscribe, watch all our content. Rudar, great talking to you as always.
It's great. Peace out, dude.
Up
Take
the
care.
Chelsea.
Up the Chels.